Good morning, everyone. Waiting for Emma to
Good
join.
morning, everybody.
Morning, Emma. You all right?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Regretting going jumper this morning though. Thought it was co I thought it was cold, and
Oh,
massively
you see,
regretting it.
I'm always cold, so I'm always wearing a jumper or
Okay,
a
yeah.
cardigan.
Well, yeah. Welcome everybody to another HubSpot masterclass with me and Emma. Today we are talking about how to maximize e-commerce sales with HubSpot. So um, it's a little bit different today. We're not going to be focusing on a specific tool as such, like some of the previous ones that we've done. Um, so this is great for businesses that have an e-commerce website, essentially. And I think with HubSpot, it's often more regarded as a consultative selling tool
Mm,
in B2B sales or prospecting and things like that. So it's often regarded by many as probably HubSpot's weakness in a way.
mm,
But we're here today to, because it can still do some really good things if you sell online. Okay. And we're here today. We're going to run through a few of those with you this morning. So again, perfect for marketing managers who run e-commerce businesses or businesses that sell online. But also, I would add that there's still a lot. So even if you don't sell online, there's still an awful lot of things that we're going to go through today that you can potentially implement, maybe more on
mm.
a manual basis rather than an implementation basis. But we'll talk about that more if we get into things this morning. So as always, the plan for today is we're going to finish at 11 o'clock. Okay. So if you have any questions throughout this morning, please drop them in the chat and we will answer them as we go.
Yep.
If we don't get round to it, okay, then we're going to cover them all at the end. So, we'll always stick around for sort of 10, 15 minutes at the end if needs be, just to make sure every question that anyone has put on the chat has been answered and we'll both cover it together. So let's just check that that chat is live. So if you can, everyone that's attending, just put on whether you have an e-commerce business. I think that's probably going to help for us today. If you sell online, so just put yes or no. That's the question. Do you sell online? Okay, and we'll
Mm.
see what kind of responses we get. Scott says yes.
Yeah,
Leon
Leon.
wants to.
Great.
Okay,
Susan doesn't. It's no problem.
not a problem
Super.
at all. It helps things a little bit as well. I think it can
Yeah.
tailor it a little bit, so that's fine. So the chat's working. That is great. So as always, before I'm going to hand over to Emma, and she's going to sort of dig into HubSpot a little bit and get this started. Always like to start with a little bit of a background on JDR, just for people that are new or people that maybe haven't spoke to us or met us before. A lot of you will have, of course. 20 years in business as of last week, 2 weeks ago now
2 weeks ago,
was, yeah,
yeah.
2 weeks ago, just past 20 years. As you can see, business coaching background, that's how we started. We're a full service marketing agency now. We've been using HubSpot every day for the past probably 12 years in our business, been partners with HubSpot for 10, and elite partners for 2 years now as well. There's three ways in which we help businesses. So particularly when it comes to HubSpot. First of all, HubSpot setup, onboarding. When you purchase a professional hub, a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about today will be based around the professional hub subscriptions. So we onboard businesses, we set it up, we will train you, provide do all the kind of the setup, all the nitty-gritty stuff, the technical bits and pieces, so you're getting the most out of your tool. We will
Mm.
do that for a business. And also if you're using it but not getting the most out of it, we offer bespoke training, consultancy work. I know Emma's done many projects now with businesses helping them get the most out of their HubSpot account. But as always, our day to day is we are an inbound marketing agency. Okay. We are a full service marketing department for small to medium sized businesses, not only helping them with their strategy, but as you can see, we've got the resources to execute all of it. Okay.
Mm.
Um, and there's many ways in which we help businesses. Okay, if you'd like to learn more about any of those three things or explore how we can potentially help you, I'm gonna pop a link to my diary on now. I just want to check the chat because I couldn't actually post.
I
on
did
the chat
make you the host, so I believe you will be able
I
to
can
now.
do it now. There we go. Panic a bit of technical problems this morning, but yeah, I've put a link to my diary on there as well. Okay, so if you do want to set up a call to discuss how we can help, then by all means just click that link, choose a time in my diary. Got half term coming up, so it does look a little bit sparse at the moment. Okay, but it does free up into November, so plenty of time to get to see me before the end of the year. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Emma. I'm going to stop the share, so you should have your computer.
I will take it over.
From that side.
Fantastic.
There you go.
So when we are looking at an e-commerce business in HubSpot and kind of what hub you should really be looking at, in most cases, it is going to be the marketing hub professional that you're going to want to be able to do the kind of automation, segmentation, that sort of thing that is going to work really, really well for an e-commerce business. So we're very much looking in that marketing hub space today. All of the things we're going to go through will require Marketing Hub for this to work really, really effectively for you on a fully automated scale. There are three main things really that HubSpot is going to be great for if you are an e-commerce website or like a couple of people with us today, you're wanting to start thinking about e-commerce and what that would look like. I think these are the three core areas to think about how HubSpot can help there. The first one is going to be integrations. Being able to integrate your CRM and your marketing platform into your website and your e-commerce platform is going to be absolutely vital, and HubSpot's really good for that. You're also going to want to be able to segment your database. So what that essentially means is slice and dice up all of the people that you have on your list and then target them with specific things that are going to be as relevant as possible to them as individuals and the data that you have about them. That's also why that integration is really important for getting that data in for the kind of segmentation you're going to want to do. You're also going to definitely want to be using HubSpot to automate things within your e-commerce business. And we've got some bits to run through today on what you can automate with HubSpot for e-commerce and how that can work really, really well. So let's start by looking at integrations then. So if your site is built on a fairly common e-commerce platform, we're talking WooCommerce, Shopify, Magento, I'm sure there are others out there. Most of these will integrate very seamlessly with HubSpot and they will be able to create a record for each new purchase. Now, very recently, I'm talking within the last week, 2 weeks, HubSpot have changed this where historically, a lot of these integrations used to create deals, which was the same area in HubSpot where if you were a kind of typical selling business, not e-commerce, you would put all of your things in, all of your opportunities in there. Now there is a dedicated area within HubSpot to e-commerce called orders. Some of the integrations have switched over to that. I know that the Shopify one now will create orders rather than deals. I know the WooCommerce one isn't quite doing that yet, but I expect that will be coming down the line. So that's worth being aware of, that those changes will be happening. But the important thing is that that data is coming into HubSpot from these platforms through some really powerful and really easy to install integrations there as well. You don't necessarily need a developer to be able to integrate your e-commerce platform with HubSpot. A lot of these are literally just plug and play,
Particularly
which makes
the Shopify one.
Yeah.
It's the market leader when it comes to selling online today.
Yeah,
Lots of businesses
absolutely.
will use it. The WooCommerce, that's so for those that don't maybe know, it's a WordPress website. So you've got a WordPress website. It's a WordPress plugin. They do tend to be a lot slower on the uptake when it comes to integrations. It will come for sure. Same with Magento. That's much more bespoke websites, more complex websites. Absolutely, yeah. I'm glad I'm not a developer, put it that way.
Yeah.
But, many conversations about Magento with businesses I don't want to get it too much into today.
Yeah, definitely. So the way that a lot of these integrations will work is it will create a sort of visual pipeline for your store. Obviously, I've blanked out the actual data in this one, but you'll be able to see individual deals or orders for every individual order that comes into your store. So as people move through your kind of checkout process, they will move through the various stages on here. You can see that it also allows you to track abandoned checkouts, so that kind of abandoned cart stuff, which we're going to come on to a little bit. You can see anyone that has had a refund process through your shop, that all happens automatically as well. People that are processing, and then obviously completed is all of your people that have gone all the way through and have actually placed an order with you. The nice thing about this as well is that on each of these individual orders, you can see the what HubSpot calls line items, so the products that they have bought. That's super key because that's going to feed into a lot of your segmentation. If you can see that this individual bought this specific product on this date, you are then able to target them with similar things around similar dates. You're able to start to build up a picture of the types of things you offer that they may be interested in. All of that data that's going to be sitting within your e-commerce platform, you can take that out of there, put it into HubSpot, and then actually use that to really power up your marketing there. So it's one of the major benefits of these integrations is it takes that otherwise quite siloed data out of your website platform, puts it somewhere where you can actually use it for your marketing. So that's a huge part of why HubSpot is so powerful for e-commerce businesses.
Absolutely. And I think that with the way that a lot of people will use HubSpot is they're quite often tailoring content that people receive based on their behavior, whether that
For
be
sure.
email or blog articles, content, or whatever. The only difference here is that you can, tailor products or offers or content that people receive. Very similar to, the Amazon model. You look at a toaster on Amazon, within a week you get 10 emails about
Yeah.
toasters, and every website you go to, you see
You see your Amazon toaster. Yeah.
absolutely. And that technology is readily available for small to medium-sized businesses now, done
Yeah.
in this tool. And it's a really, really great thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It can work so well. Okay. So let's move on to how some of that segmentation and kind of slicing up your database can work. So one of your biggest tools for doing this is going to be through your lists. So I've showed you a little example here of how you can segment by line items. And I do this with our e-commerce clients all the time, is setting up these kind of lists. So essentially the way that it works is you can do a contact-based list. So it's going to show you all of the people that you have. And then you can look at their associated line items, so products that they have either bought or had in their basket at some point. You can either use the product name. I always use the SKU code because it is much quicker to type in normally than a long product name. And you can do just one SKU code. You can do a whole list. You can also copy and paste. If you've got a load of SKUs in a spreadsheet, for instance, you can copy and paste them into here rather than typing them all in one by one. You never used to be able to do that, and it was a real pain, but you can copy and paste them in now, which is good. Once you've got a list like this of everybody that's interested in a particular type of product or a group of products that you offer, the targeting that you can then do with that is amazing. So you can send very specific emails out to those people, containing details of similar products, perhaps products that would make a good cross-sell or upsell from that product to really help increase kind of the customers coming back to you and that retention of customers there. You can also use it to create lists, which you then can retarget through your Google Ads as well. On Marketing Hub Professional, you can use a HubSpot list membership as the criteria for Google Ads retargeting. So it kind of opens up that ads side of things. I know that ads is something that e-commerce businesses, you kind of have to be doing Google Ads one way or
Absolutely.
another.
Yeah.
It works so well, and it's such a powerful tool. Being able to put this kind of data as to these people have liked these specific products into Google Ads is going to give Google Ads so much more to work with when it comes to retargeting and remarketing through that tool. So yeah, creating lists with specific product interest based on what they have actively had in their cart, or what they have actively bought, allows you to do so much here. The other kind of segmentation that you can do is around more general website data. And this can be used in e-commerce and also outside of e-commerce as well. You can segment by specific pages that they've viewed on your website. So let's say they had viewed a page with a URL that had a specific word in, or was a specific group of products or something along those lines. That will then allow you to do the same thing, where you can then retarget those people with that group of products. You can email out to them as soon as they have viewed that URL. They can come onto this list, and then you can start marketing that to them. It's that Amazon model that Andy was talking about before, where you look at something on a website and it then follows you across the whole internet. You can't get away from it. This is going to enable you as a small business to be able to do that to a pretty high degree there. So this is absolutely something I would recommend for e-commerce, but also any business that isn't e-commerce as well, because the
Yeah.
like being able to target, we do this quite a lot with people that have looked at a pricing page on the website, or get a quote page, for instance. If they've viewed that page, we can then send them more information, trying to get them to actually convert on that page, for instance. So can work really, really well, this sort of page view segmentation
Mm.
in HubSpot.
And in the B2B space as well, with so we've got some clients that sell like to trade, and they have like
Mm,
sales reps that will go out, and usually historically with a catalog of products, and people will place their orders. But those sales reps knowing which products their prospects, their clients have
yeah,
looked at is incredibly powerful, because they can again show them the stuff that they're interested in effectively.
exactly. It just allows you to tailor what you're doing, doesn't it, based on people's behavior.
Absolutely. It saves a lot of time as
Mm,
well. It's a big time saver, and
definitely.
it's making you work smarter, which
Yeah.
the theme of these masterclasses that we've had is all about working smarter, and the
Yeah,
benefit of HubSpot is being able to make better decisions with better quality information. Marketing for
definitely.
years has always been guesswork. One of its biggest gripes is you never really know how successful it is. It's quite
Mm,
intangible a lot of the time. HubSpot is changing that so
yeah,
well.
definitely. Okay. So the other thing that is incredibly powerful within HubSpot is the automation side of things. This is one of the things that I would say HubSpot is probably the most known for, is the automation that it offers. I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think of HubSpot first when it comes to marketing automation, to e-commerce automation in particular. There's so much you can do within it that
Mm,
works so well. And again, it's just using that data that's fed into the system and then sending these reminders and these emails and stuff out for you. So we touched on before that a lot of these integrations will allow you to track your abandoned cart. So people that have put something in their basket and then not taken it any further. If you have that data, you can automate off the back of that data. So as soon as somebody is in that abandoned cart, if they haven't, gone ahead and made that purchase, you want to be prompting them. That was someone that was this close to buying and haven't
mm,
done. That's possibly some of your warmest potential customers as an e-commerce business. So being able to trigger an automation based on when somebody goes into that stage is going to allow you to give them that little gentle nudge. Most of the integrations as well that we've touched on also have the ability to add a little module into your email that will look a little bit like this. So that it will actually take people back to the cart. It will allow you to put the products that they were looking at in the email itself. Not all of the integrations have the ability to do this, but a good amount of them do, and will enable you to actually include that information in your abandoned cart emails
mm.
there. Um, what I see with my e-commerce clients is that this automation alone is one of the biggest revenue generating automations that we see. HubSpot gives you a little bit of data on, how much a single email has influenced in terms of then closed won revenue. This email always wins for that every time, hands down, because it is the warmest possible people, and it's just giving them that reminder that pushes them to then make the purchase. So this is just pure revenue generation, this email.
Absolutely. And I think one thing we will probably should point out is that a lot of website platforms will offer this as standard. So if you
Yeah,
have a Shopify website, you can have abandoned cart, abandoned basket strategies
yeah.
as part of it. Automated emails set up. I think where HubSpot differs is the reporting side of it, and actually tracking and measuring that
Yeah.
data. Okay, you're getting everything in a single source of information rather than getting your data, because the reporting isn't that great in other platforms
Mm,
as well.
yeah.
WordPress, WooCommerce has different plugins that do that. Shopify obviously offers it as standard. I think
Mm,
Wix do as well, which is more of a sort of a lower entry level e-commerce platform, but again, not necessarily great for things like SEO and ads and stuff. So,
mm,
big benefit of HubSpot is having all of your data managed in one place.
yeah,
So, but yeah, just wanted to point out that a lot of them, you can set this up in the actual website platform themselves.
yeah,
Benefit of doing it in HubSpot is you get the customer data, which you don't.
yeah. The other thing that HubSpot allows you to do is build on that further. So once someone's gone through that abandoned cart, HubSpot will know then did they purchase or not, and then you can send them down different routes and send them
Mm,
different future automations as well, because the website platforms are not designed to do that full automation strategy and journey. They'll do this small part of it. HubSpot allows you to take the data from that small part of it forward into future automations that you do as well.
yeah, particularly with your ads as well, you can tailor the
Yeah,
ads based around that data, which obviously the website platforms won't have access
exactly.
to either.
Exactly. The other type of automation that I see working really well on e-commerce is designed to get that repeat purchase from people. Most e-commerce businesses get most of their revenue from repeat purchases as opposed to first-time purchases, and that's something that you need to kind of lean into with the automation and try to encourage people to come back. Um, this is just an example I found on Google of kind of we missed you type automation, where
Mm,
if somebody hasn't purchased for a set amount of time, that you then are sending them something to encourage them to come back in and repurchase. Now, I do always see that this works best if you have a promo code or a discount code of some kind in this email. I know that a lot of e-commerce businesses are very against doing any kind of discount codes, but we do see that these kind of ones where they only go to a select group of people, so only to people that haven't purchased for however much amount of time, they work really, really effectively for encouraging those people to come back in and get something from you again. Um, it's all about that lifetime value of a customer. I think that's so important in an
mm,
e-commerce business. And this is a great tool for being able to do that. So if they have previously had a one deal and they haven't then had a deal or a one deal for however many months you want to set that as, then trigger that to send them a series of emails, perhaps with a discount code, to prompt them to come back to you. It's very
Also,
effective.
subscription businesses, I would add, is not necessarily just
Mm,
products. So if you've got something that people subscribe to on a monthly
very true.
basis, and they and people become dormant customers, they stop their subscriptions. You've probably
Yeah.
all had your trying to think of something now. Hello Fresh, that
HelloFresh is the big
that
one,
is
isn't
probably the
it?
big one,
Yeah.
isn't it? Used to be Netflix.
Yeah.
Uh, I actually had a conversation recently before. Like I used to get them emails from like Love Film. I don't know if you remember Love Film. You might be a bit too
I'm
young
too
for it.
young to remember
Yeah,
Love
okay.
Film.
So the older people that are in this will probably know what that is. Is that you could get like DVDs sent to you. It's basically
Oh,
before the
okay.
Netflix days, and you would do it for like a week because you had like a free code, and then you'd get emailed constantly for about
Mm,
a month afterwards, giving you get come back, please come back, please come back.
yeah.
You know, so reintroduction offer. So it's really good for subscription based businesses as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The other kind of automation that I really like for e-commerce businesses is ones where you can do it around the date of purchase. Especially if you're a B2C e-commerce business, a lot of the time I see that being driven by gifting in one way or another. If you can set up automation so that a few weeks before the anniversary of their last purchase date
Mm.
comes up, if they were buying that as a birthday gift for someone, even a Christmas gift, I know October is probably a little bit too soon to be talking about Christmas, but if you can recognize that you are a gifting business and therefore get people at the time where they're likely to be gifting that person that they first bought it for again, that is going to massively increase your kind of returning customers as well. Because if they bought something from you the previous year, if you've got something else you can offer them to buy this year, that's going to be really, really good way of bringing them back in. Um, Potentially even including discount codes and things like that in it again, or even just sharing with them new products, that kind of thing, things they might not have seen last year. Anything along those lines is going to allow you to get people when they're likely to be thinking about you again. all of this is driven by that data that HubSpot is able to gather there. So that's definitely one to look at.
Yeah. Also, products. If you sell products that have like typical sort of shelf life, or like, so
Mm,
people might get rid of, buy a product and then they're
that's
repurchasing every
true.
6 months, 12 months. You can set reminders. You can set automation up to do that. So also, if people buy products as well, and you've got requires maintenance, like annual service update, all those kind of stuff.
Yeah,
HubSpot works exactly the same way around data purchase. So if someone buys
purchase.
something at a certain date, in 12 months' time they need a maintenance check or
Yeah,
whatever it might be. You can set all of those up in HubSpot as well.
definitely. I spoke to a client that sold printer ink, and this was the main reason they bought HubSpot, because they know that a printer ink cartridge only lasts so long, and then you're going to
Yeah,
need another one. So, um, yeah, being able to automate off the back of that is just so good.
yeah. We're not remembering, that's the days of, you remember how long people had things for people, and that was a salesman's role. Whereas
Yeah,
now you've got all
was to
these
note all
tools.
those dates down
Yeah,
exactly.
and reply to everybody manually. Whereas now with HubSpot, you can automate that
Yeah,
significantly, save yourself a lot of time,
yeah,
um, and just consistently nurturing customers and
yeah,
adding the value, because it's much easier to sell to customers who've bought from you before
yeah.
than to bring in new customers. So particularly in e-commerce businesses, you've got you might, particularly if you sell something that is quite low value, I think as well, this
Mm,
is really important, where you need to sell in volume, so that
yeah,
customer might only spend a certain amount with you in one basket, but actually the lifetime value of that customer, because they keep buying from you every few months, every year, and the value of that customer is significantly higher. That's
yeah,
the way in which you grow your business, rather than just consistently trying to get loads and loads of more orders, like spending loads on Google ads or whatever to get
yeah,
those individual orders coming in. You can maximize it in lots of different ways as well, and this is another
yeah,
way of doing it.
definitely. The other thing that I think is worth touching on is more on the B2B side of e-commerce automation. A lot of e-commerce companies we work with that are B2B tend to have some kind of an account management team as well. So
Mm.
people can order via the website, but for their biggest customers, there will be either a person or a team of people that still have a relationship with them, um, and encourage them to keep ordering. This is something that I think a lot of businesses struggle to kind of manage, how to maximize the efficiency of those account managers. A lot of the time, especially in small business, we see that account management team having tons and tons and tons of people that they have to be trying to keep an eye on. And it's really tricky to keep track of, oh, actually, these guys used to order loads from us, but they haven't ordered anything in the last 6 months. What's going on here? HubSpot has all of that data and can either directly reach out for you or can notify your account management team, your owner of that person, to reach back out to them if they haven't ordered in however long. This is a great way of making sure that you don't have lapsed customers. You don't have customers that used to love you and then suddenly stop working with you because they found it cheaper elsewhere or they've just forgotten about you. Having some kind of a system in place for that, especially if your products are kind of regularly ordered products that are going to have a shelf life and need to be replaced. This is a great way of managing that entire process there.
And also as well is, one of the biggest things I hear from particularly B2B businesses is, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like, oh, who does this, or where'd you get that from? Oh, I get
yeah,
it from somewhere else. And because they don't know that you offer that as well, so they might buy one
mm,
particular product from you.
yeah,
So with the automation, it's really good for getting a range of different products or related products as well.
yeah,
So many different things that you can do just to maximize the value of that customer.
definitely, definitely. Okay, so there's loads of things that we've touched on there that are going to use different tools within HubSpot. So there's an element of this that relates to that customer experience, which we spoke about last month's webinar. Actually, I think was customer experience, wasn't it, Andy? We
Mm.
went all
Yeah.
about how to use HubSpot for that. Also using HubSpot for marketing emails, how to segment, and getting the most from workflows as well. So we'll pop those links in the chat for everyone. Andy, are you all right to grab those and pop them
Yeah, I can
in
do
for
that.
people,
No
please?
problem. Before I do that, there's one thing I do want to add just on the e-commerce, because
Mm,
I am going to put in the chat a link, because myself and a couple of colleagues, we have produced an e-commerce guide for business owners, which
okay.
I've just put a link in the chat to everybody on. It's 65 practical ways to grow your customer base. So how to get more from your e-commerce, loads and loads of different uh, good tips and practical advice in there. So feel free to download it as well. Let me just get the chat links
Previous
as
webinar.
well. Bear with me.
No problem. Whilst you are grabbing those links, I will quickly touch on what we're going to be covering next month. So next month we are back with Kerry Baker, who is our social media manager at JDR. And we did a webinar a couple months ago around social media for HubSpot, and there was so many questions, there was so much to cover that we've decided that we'd like to come back and cover that topic again. Because there's so much within HubSpot that can really, really help for social media. So we want to make sure we've got plenty of time to dig into the bones for that. So that's what we're going to be speaking about next month. So do keep an eye on your emails, because we'll be sharing the sign up page for that shortly. As a reminder as well, we have also got all of our historic webinars all in one place on the webinars area of our website, just here. So do please, all of them are recorded. If you want to catch up on Kerry's social media one from a couple of months ago, or any of the other ones that we've done. I think we've been doing this for a year now, Andy. I think this must be
Yeah,
the year anniversary. I think we started in October last year. So there's a really good kind of log of all of the previous masterclasses we've done there as well, if anybody would like to dig a bit deeper on anything.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, the social media one was really popular a couple of months ago. And I know the next one's going to be as well. Kerry's got some great stuff to go through with you. She had to cut it down quite significantly, and we still
Mm.
went on for an hour, I think.
Yeah,
So, you know, there's lots and lots to get through as well. So sign up to that as quickly as possible. And it's about a month's time, isn't it? I think you did
yeah,
put the date on. Yeah.
yeah, it will be.
I think
Fantastic.
I haven't had a single question. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but I'm just
Hopefully that
taking it.
means we've covered
I
everything.
think so, you know. But as I said, not a lot of people are selling online. I think that was the theme as well. So a lot of this is just people wanting the information
Mm,
from a resource perspective. So maybe no actual sort of practical advice at this point. But if you do have any specific questions, feel free afterwards to drop us an email. You know, and we can more than happy to answer them. As I say, there's a link to my diary on. I'll just pop it on again at the bottom in case it got lost in the chat. And yeah,
perfect.
perfect. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Hope to
Yeah,
see you next
thanks.
month.
Absolutely. You won't be here next month.
No, I won't. Kerry will.
No, Kerry
Never
will.
mind
Yeah.
then.
2 months. 2 months.
Thanks, everyone.
No problem. Take care, everyone. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.